Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to opening ceremony, the 10th International Conference on Multidisciplinary Research (ICMR), in conjunction with the second International and National Symposium on Aquatic Environment and Fisheries INSAEF 2021. So, this international conference organized by Marine and Fishery Research Center of Sheikh Kuala University, and Faculty of Marine and Fishery Aquacultural, Department of Aquaculture and Marine Science. Before the beginning of the whole session on this opening ceremony, let me introduce myself. My name is Armia and will accompany you in this opening ceremony. First of all, let's thank God, Allah, Alhamdulillah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, who has given us His mercy and blessing. So we can attend this program without any problem, even though we are still in this pandemic situation, and our Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. We should be confident to fight this, our ability to explore the knowledge that can give the high impact for the community. This conference, covering the Earth's surface for approximately 71%, the ocean promises, and for a better to live by ocean development through the exploitation, preservation, and regeneration of the marine environment. Several sectors are included in ocean development, from the conventional part, aquaculture, fishery, tourism, maritime transport, and to the more emerging space, marine renewable energy, blue carbon service, seabed mining, and bioprospecting. To begin the first agenda, now we will hear the reciting of Holy Quran by Mr. Lutfi Utomo Hafiz and Laras Nona.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. فلا تطع الكافرين وجاهده به جهادا كبيرا. وهو الذي مرج البحرين هذا عذب فرات وهذا ملح أجاج. وجعل بينهما برزخا وحجرا وهو الذي خلق من الماء بشرا فجعله نسبا وصهرا فجعله نسبا وصهرا وكان ربك قديرا وهو الذي خلق من الماء بشرا فجعله نسبا وصهرا وكان ربك قديرا صدق الله العظيم.
So obey not the disbelievers, but strive against them by preaching with the most endeavor with the Quran. And it is He who has let free the two seas kinds of water, one palatable and sweet, and the other salt and bitter. And He has set a barrier and a complete partition between them. And it is He who has created man from water and has appointed for him kindred by blood and kindred by marriage. And your Lord is ever all-powerful to do what He will.
Thank you very much to Mr. Lutfi and Ms. Laras Mauna. Ladies and gentlemen, for the next agenda, we are singing the national anthem of Republic of Indonesia, Indonesia Raya. For the next agenda, we would like to invite the Chief of Committee, Mr. Hekal Aziz Harid, PhD, to deliver and give the report speech of this event. Mr. Hekal, the time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Excellencies, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the conference committee, I'm honored and delighted to welcome you to the 10th International Conference on Multidisciplinary Research, or RCMR, in conjunction with the 2nd International and National Symposium on Aquatic Environment and Fisheries INSAEF of Universitas Syahkuala. I wish to take this opportunity to welcome all the participants, the keynote, and our invited speakers for coming to our campus virtually. It is already 2 years since the pandemic has shifted our workspace to home. However, we believe that communication amongst the scientists should remain connected and updated. This conference, the RCMR and INSAEF, has a theme, a multidisciplinary approach toward a sustainable eco-blue industry 4.0, has welcomed the researchers, scientists, and students around the world with related topics to share their work, thoughts, ideas, together with learning something new in this challenging time. The ICMR and INSAEF participants come from all around Indonesia, from Aceh to Papua, Malaysia, Vietnam, and Taiwan, representing the students, lecturers, and researchers. The committee received 100 abstracts, consist of 60 oral and 40 poster presenters. Our technical program is rich and varied with 4 keynote speeches, 7 invited talks, and several parallel sessions. On this occasion, I also wish to welcome our keynote speaker, Prof. Shukun Shu, Chairman for Center of Environment Studies, National Central University, Taiwan, Prof. Dr. Kasih Marimutu, AIM ST University, Malaysia, Dr. Irwan Meilano, Dean of the Faculty of Earth Science and Technology, Bandung Institute of Technology, Indonesia, and Dr. Morelia Urlau, Research Fellow at Marine Geodynamics, Geomar, Germany. We were also honored to host our invited speaker, Dr. Zarina Muhammad Noor, University Science Malaysia, Associate Prof. Muhammad Nasir Badu, PhD, Universitas Hasanuddin, Indonesia, Dr. Do Hai Yen, Tan Trao University, Vietnam, Dr. Frauke Klingelhofer, Iframer, France, Prof. Marc-André Gasser, Université de Bretagne Occidentale, France, Prof. Hasrita Lubis, MPD, Universitas Islam Sumatera Utara, Indonesia, and Dr. Nur Fadli, Universitas Syahkuala, Indonesia. Finally, as the chairman of the 10th ICMR, in conjunction with the 2nd INSAEF 2020, I'm in debt of sincere thanks to the people who have worked, planning, organizing, and support this event, especially the organizing committees, members who have worked all out, extremely difficult to mention their effort one by one so that the conference and its program could run smoothly. I also would like to sincerely thank the Rector of Syahkuala University, Prof. Dr. Samsul Rizal, M.Eng, Vice Rector of Academic Affairs, Professor Dr. Insinyur Marwan, and the Dean of Faculty of Marine and Fisheries, Prof. Dr. Muklisin, ZA MSc, and the Chairman of the Institute for Research and Community Service, Universitas Syahkuala, Professor Dr. Taufik Wadi Abidin, SSE and TECH, and all other members at our faculty of Marine and Fisheries, Universitas Syah Kuala, and the Research Center for Marine and Fisheries. I sincerely hope you will enjoy the conference, and I highly expect that this meeting will catalyze and strengthening cooperation among us in the future. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum.
Thank you, Mr. Haikal Aziz, for deliver and give the report speech for this event. So, ladies and gentlemen, now we step to the next agenda. So, I'm glad to inform you all, Director of Syah Kuala University, Banda Aceh, represented by Vice Rector of Academic, Professor Dr. Ian Senior Marwan, will deliver his opening speech as the preface and opening remarks for this conference. Professor, the time is yours now.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Very good morning. Excellency, Rector or representative from the core member ICMR, from University Science Malaysia, Universitas Hasanuddin, and Universitas Islam Sumatera Utara, Dean of the Faculty of Marine and Fishery Universitas Syah Kuala, Professor Mukhlisin, Chairman of the Institute for Research and Community Service, Universitas Syah Kuala, Professor Dr. Taufik Abidin, all participants, ladies and gentlemen. Praise and gratitude be to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, because by His grace we can be brought together in this scientific forum. Salat and greeting I offer the honor of the beloved Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. On behalf of the Universitas Syah Kuala, I would like to express my sincere gratitude and welcome you to the 10th International Conference on Multidisciplinary Research, ICMR, in conjunction with the 2nd International and National Symposium on Aquatic Environment and Fisheries. In particular, I welcome the keynote speaker, Professor Shu Kun Shu from National Central University, Taiwan, Professor Dr. Kasi Marimutu from AIMST University, Malaysia, Dr. Morilia Urlaub from Geomat, Germany, and Dr. Insinyur Irwan Melano MSc from Bandung Institute of Technology, Indonesia. I also would like to welcome all invited speakers. I give great appreciation for your willingness to attend this important agenda. I'm sure your distinguished expertise and experience will contribute to the development of science, technology, and innovation in the maritime and fishery sector. As we know, water in general occupy more than 70% of the Earth's surface and 95% of biosphere. Therefore, aquatic biodiversity, the variety of life in ocean, seas, lakes, rivers, and also other water bodies is a critical aspect of all three pillars of sustainable development: economic, social, and environmental, that supporting the healthy functioning of our Earth and providing services that support the health, well-being, and prosperity of humanity. Ladies and gentlemen, the Research Center for Marine and Fisheries, Universitas Syah Kuala, was established in 2006 and currently has 40 researchers in several exciting scopes of marine and fisheries. As a form of contribution to the work of research and innovation, since 2008, every year, we hold international conference, which involve not only researchers from Indonesia, but also from other parts of the world. Last year, we managed to hold the first international and national symposium on aquatic environment and fisheries, which was attended by more than 200 participants from 4 continents. This year, due to the condition of COVID-19 pandemic is still affecting us across the world, we are holding this activity online. I do hope that even we do not meet face-to-face, the essence of this scientific meeting is maintained. The spirit to continue to collaborate in terms of research and publication is one our goal. We hope that the research network that has been built before we can be expanded and strengthened in the future. Hopefully, work problems, especially in the maritime and fishery sector, can be resolved in our research innovation. Honorable guests, ladies and gentlemen, once again, I would like to express my sincere thanks to our prominent speakers, the organizers, and all participants. I do wish for a successful and jubilant meeting. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much, Professor Dr. Insinyur Marwan, for his opening speech for this conference. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us doing the dua or prayer session read by Mr. Lutfi and Ms. Laras Nona.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين حمد الناعمين حمدا يوافي نعمه ويكافئ مزيده. يا ربنا لك الحمد كما ينبغي لجلال وجهك الكريم وعظيم سلطانك. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد. اللهم إنا نسألك سلامة في الدين والدنيا والآخرة وعافية في جسدنا وزيادة في علمنا وبركة في رزقنا وتوبة قبل الموت ورحمة عند الموت ومغفرة بعد الموت. اللهم حون علينا في سكرات الموت والنجاة من النار والعفو عند الحساب. ربنا افتح بيننا وبين قومنا بالحق وأنت خير الفاتحين. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار والحمد لله رب العالمين.
In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful, praise to be God, Lord of hosts. The praise corresponds to His favor and guarantees its addition. O our Lord, to Thee all praise, and to Thee all praises, as the majesty of Thy substance and the majesty of Thy power. O Allah, indeed, we ask You for safety when it comes to religion, health of the body, abundance of knowledge, blessings of the sustenance, repentance before death comes, mercy when death comes, and forgiveness after death comes. O Allah, make it easy for us in the face of that, grant us safety from the fire of hell, and forgiveness at the time of reckoning. O Allah, do not turn our hearts away from Islam after You have given us guidance. Pour out faith on us from Your side. You are the most merciful to the believers. O Allah, give us good in this world, give us good in the hereafter, and protect us from the punishment of hell. Amin. Amin ya Rabbal Alamin. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lutfi and Ms. Laras. Ladies and gentlemen, the next agenda, as the part of the opening ceremony, we are watching the video of performing Aceh traditional dance.
Beautiful place. A place that makes you feel restful. In the midst of people who live in religious harmony. A place that makes you feel home. That makes you curious for more. Adventure. Start your journey. Travel to the place where the story unfolds. Feel the sea breeze caress your face and the sound of the waves breaking your consciousness. That you can see them through the beauty of woven fabrics. Or smell them through the scent of coffee that wafts in the air. If you have never heard it before, you may now find it intriguing. You may want to know every square inch of this place. From the beauty of its land to the depths of its seas. With an amazing biodiversity. Perhaps you've heard this story about a land which has traditions so diverse. Meet these friendly people who will welcome you with warmth. After all, welcoming guests is their tradition. The light of Aceh, wonderful Indonesia.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we will start for the keynote speaker session, I would like to
Universitas Syekh University Aceh, the capital. Westernmost point of Sumatra Island, the province is rich with traditions, cultures, languages, and natural resources. The university is also known as the heart of the Acehnese, Jantung Hati Rakyat Aceh. It is the oldest university in Aceh, officially established on September 2nd, 1961. Universitas Syekh Kuala was named after an Islamic scholar of Aceh, Abdurrauf bin Ali Al-Jawi Asingkali, who is also known as Tunku Syekh Kuala. He established an Islamic education center at a river mouth in Banda Aceh, which later became an official higher education institution. During this time, he gave great contribution to the education values and Islamic laws and regulations in Aceh. In addition to the main campus in Darussalam, Banda Aceh City, Universitas Syekh Kuala has also established a second campus in the district of Gaya Luiz. The campus is called Program Studi di Luar Campus Utama, the study program outside the main campus, which was officially opened on September 2nd, 2014. Universitas Syekh Kuala has a school. The Faculty of Economics and Business, the Faculty of Veterinary Medicine, the Faculty of Law, the Faculty of Engineering, the Faculty of Agriculture, the Faculty of Teacher Training and Education, the Faculty of Medicine, the Faculty of Mathematics and Natural Science, the Faculty of Social and Political Science, the Faculty of Fisheries and Marine Science, the Faculty of Nursing, and the Faculty of Dentistry. All these 12 faculties together offer 135 study programs of different levels: diploma programs, undergraduate programs, professional programs, specialist programs, master's programs, and programs. And programs. Universitas Syekh Kuala, more than 32 from various regions in Indonesia. The university has received numerous awards for its achievements at both the national and the international levels. For example, with Malam Diwa electric car, Universitas Syekh Kuala recently won as the second fastest team to compete technical inspection in the electric class at a prestigious competition in Asia, the Shell Eco Marathon Asia competition. In the research area, the university has also developed a good reputation at the national and international levels through its excellent research and research centers, such as the Tsunami and Disaster Mitigation Research Center and the Atsiri Research Center. Universitas Syekh Kuala also publishes numerous scientific journals. Some of them have been indexed by SINTA, the Indonesian Citation Index, as Quartile 1 and 2 journals. One of the university's journals, Studies in Education Journal, has recently been indexed by Scopus, one of the most reputable journal indexing and citation databases in the scientific world. Universitas Syekh Kuala has actively participated in several collaborative programs with several countries in Asia and Europe. These include Erasmus Mobility and Capacity Building Program, IMT-GT University Network Program, and the Erasmus Plus Program. Universitas Syekh Kuala has numerous national and international collaborations with universities and companies across the globe. Through this collaboration, the university has successfully organized various academic and non-academic events which have improved the university's national and international reputations. The Joint Research and Publication Program, the Exchange Program, the Internship Program, the Disaster and Cultural Summer Camp, and the Humanitarian Program are among many others. Universitas Syiah does not only focus on improving the quality of academic activities within the campus, but also proudly offers services to the communities. These tasks are assigned to 3 units at the university: the Office of International Affairs, Career Development Center, and Entrepreneurship Center. These units help students, staff, and alumni expand their experiences in academics, business, and beyond. Therefore, Universitas Syiah has always appreciated and placed at top priorities all partnerships and collaboration to make the university the heart Kantong Hati Rakyat Aceh. The university continuously strives to improve the academic activities, research development, humanitarian works, and the quality and quantity of scientific publications to achieve its vision to become the leading university in Asia and to become the world-class institution.
Universitas Syiah, universitas yang inovatif, mandiri dan terkemuka, menuju Innovation Socio-Technopreneur University.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to remind you parallel session for the poster presentation, oral presentation, and student presentation after the keynote speaker session. For further information, the committee will inform you also. Ladies and gentlemen, for the next agenda, this is the important and the most anticipated part in this conference. We have the 3 inspiring speakers in keynote speakers session. They are Professor Shun Kush of Center for Environmental Studies from NCU Taiwan, Dr. Kasi Marimutu from Department of Biotechnology, Faculty of Applied Science, AIMST University Malaysia, and Dr. Insinyur Irwan Melano, MSc, the Dean of the Faculty of Earth Sciences and Technology, Bandung Institute of Technology, Indonesia. So for the keynote speaker session, will presented by our moderator, M. Irham. I would like to moderator shortly. So Professor Irham, Dr. Muhammad Irham, a geologist born in Aceh. So a geologist started first when he was graduated from high school and being admitted at Syiah University. So he also have the program in Canada under the Canada World Youth. During that time, Professor Mr. Irham graduated from Institute Technology Bandung. So the time is now for Dr. Muhammad Irham will lead the keynote speaker session.
Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I hope that everybody can hear me very well. Can you hear me clearly, or just raise your hand or raise your voice that you cannot hear me, or my voice is too low so I can speak it up. All right. Today's main session is going to be end at 11:20. However, because of our opening ceremony is earlier than expected, so we have sometimes for question and answers from 3 professors that is going to give some scientific speech today. They are Professor Shukun, Professor Marimutu, and Professor Mailano. I'd like to introduce three of them, three of our keynote speakers. Professor Shukun, his specialty is in marine geology and geophysics, tectonic gravity and magnetism. So he graduated from geoscience. He got a PhD in 1995, if I'm not wrong. So I just got the CV from the committee. From the University de Bretagne Occidentale, France. Forgive me if I spell it wrong, because I can't speak French. So he graduated from master's degree in marine geophysics, National Taiwan University in Taiwan, and he got the bachelor degree in earth sciences in National Taiwan Normal University, Taiwan. So the second speaker will be Professor Marimutu. He is in Department of Biotechnology, Faculty of Applied Science, AIMST University. So his nationality is actually Indian, but I believe that he recently settled in Malaysia. So, so he got a lot of experiences in his academic life. The first one is Department of Biotechnology, Faculty of Applied Science, AIMST, University of Malaysia. And so he's also the so he also had the experience in, I believe it in India, as a Center for Aquaculture Research and Extensions in Tamil Nadu, India, and also he works for Center Institute for Freshwater Aquaculture in Bhubaneswar, India, and also works for the Center for Aquaculture Research and Extension at Xavier College, Palayan, Kotai, Tamil Nadu, India. So our last speaker will be Professor Mailano. So he is recently a Dean of Faculty of Earth Science and Technology, Institute of Technology, Bandung. When I was part of the ITB, actually the alumni of Earth Science also. So, so he is a coordinator for disasters topic of AIUN or SEED, Net Asian University Network, and also from 2011 to 2015, he worked as a secretary for the mitigation and disaster research at Institute of Technology, Bandung. So I don't want to read all the papers that they already produced for the scientific research, but as their experience on their research, and we know that they are very, mastered or acknowledged by every scientific the community, that they are expert in their own subjects. So I don't want to waste the time. We have 3 speakers, so this is the rule that I have to tell the speakers, that each speaker will have 35 minutes to talk about their own topics. And after one speaker, first speaker will be Shukun, Professor Shukun, and then the second one will be Professor Marimutu for 35 minutes, and the last one will be Professor Mailano for 35 minutes. After all the talk, so we're gonna have the session of question and answer. So might be we have to look at our times. Maybe we're gonna have a first session of question and answer, second session of question and answer until the time is up at 11:20. So each session I'll open for 3 questions for the question and answer. So Professor Shukun, are you ready?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, we welcome you. Get applause to Professor Shukun. So time is yours.
Okay. So I cannot share my screen. Could you just you must cross your PowerPoint, then I can share my one. For a moment, yeah, I can start. Please turn off your PowerPoint from your side because I cannot share my slide.
Okay.
I need to upload my
Okay. The computer will share your PowerPoint.
Okay, now it's okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Could you see the slide?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thanks, Chairman, for the introduction, and I hope that all of you can hear me clearly. Okay. So today I would like to talk about a phenomenon, a submarine phenomenon, and it's seabed gas emission and some of their implications. The seabed gas emission, that means the gas will out of from the seafloor. It's a quite common feature around the world, but today I will just show the examples that near Taiwan, one just of southwestern Taiwan, and the other one just of northeastern Taiwan, to give you some example of how the gas emission and what could be the implication of this gas emission. Let me okay. So my example will be in these 2 boxes, red box. One is the area of southwestern Taiwan. This is area receive a lot of sediment, maybe from mainland China or from Taiwan, and there's also we call change that this plate will subduct the eastward beneath the Taiwan and Philippines, this Philippine mobile belt. And the other area that's just in of northeastern Taiwan, and the area here is in fact we call it a backup basin, and name is Okinawa Trough. That means trough just behind the Ryukyu Arc, and in this area there was Philippine sea plate is subducted northward just beneath the Eurasian plate. So give you an example, how can we identify the gas flare under the sea? And this is 2 examples. One is from the Malibin echo sounder and to the left. So you can see that the gas flare can be imaged by the echo sounder, Malibin echo sounder, or it can be imaged by other echo sounder. For example, this one to the right. This image that's from the so-called the fish finder echo sounder. This is a very common echo sounder, EK65. So here you can see that this is the seafloor, and this is water column. But inside the water column, you can see this image, a very strong intensity of echo sounder. And this is a so-called gas flare or gas plume. And in fact, that means that there is some gas out of the seafloor and enter into the water column. Sometimes it may enter into the atmosphere if the gas flare is strong enough, and it can be or even enter the atmosphere. Okay, and this example here is water depth is around 400 meter depth, and you can see the plume is very high, almost near the sea surface. And this is also given example or what could be the contents of the gas inside of the gas flares. And this is one the same. The two images they are the same volcano, but sometimes they are quiet. For example, this one, and sometimes they are very eruptive and can emit out a lot of gas flare. And we collected some sample from this gas flare, and we can find that the content of this these gases, sometimes you can find a very high concentration of methanes, as this is sea surface, and this is the bottom of this area, and you can see that a very high concentration of the methane near the bottom area. It doesn't mean near here, but it of course is it's become decreasing to a sea surface. And if we look also that for CO2 is also the same, that the concentration is very high near the bottom of this volcano, but of course is decreasing and almost to a common background values near the sea floor. Okay, this is general context. What I want to say is that in the area of southern Taiwan, you can see that the contents of the gases emitted out of the sea floor. Most of them are methane or CO2, carbon dioxide. Well, in fact, not only in the offshore area, even the onshore area, we can find also some volcano and also some gas. Sometimes we can see a lot of news from the TV. You can see even you can see a lot of fire just on land, but this is on land, and this on land portion is continuation of the offshore portion of southern Taiwan. If you come to Taiwan, you can also visit such kind of volcano on land. You don't need to go to the offshore area, but offshore area is more active, of course. Okay, this is also an example show you that from shallow to a little bit deeper. And the case, this is the same as I mentioned, that some volcano, and also some gas flare I can see come out of the sea floor. But in fact, the gas sometimes can also produce some multi-peer. For example, this one, if the gas here and if in a compressive context, sometimes can cause some so-called multi-peer and cause the uplift of the sea floor. Or sometimes you can sometimes the gas cannot really out of the sea floor, but the gas intrude into the seabed, so it will cause a breaking. This is a sub-bottom profile image, and sometimes you can see very clearly the sedimentation layer, but sometimes you can see the gas just enter into the seabed and you cause some breaking. And in this case, we call seabed. So for the gas, sometimes you can see the gas plume or gas flare. Sometimes you can see gas ship, and sometimes you can see a volcano or even some multi-peer. This is general case that you can general phenomenon that can be produced by the migrating gases. Okay, in the context of southern Taiwan, in fact, here we find some gas hydrate formation, and the context general like this one. This is a general context of methane, maybe in a cage form, and the methane was surrounded by the CO2. Okay, but in a high pressure and a low temperature, of course, it can be formed. The gas hydrate, for example, here, the water depth is the 1200 meter depth. You can see this is sea floor, and inside the sediment, maybe you can find a gas hydrate because the temperature is low and the pressure is high, so you can form the gas hydrate. But of course, this line, this stage, red line, this here, this is so-called a thermal curve. But once it gets too deep, and temperature is higher again, so and then there's no more gas hydrate. But again, that will be dissociated. Or if the pressure is too low, of course, the gas hydrate can be dissociated. So the gas hydrate can only form just in this condition. Okay, here or here there are no more gas hydrate formation. And one way to find the gas hydrate is sometimes we call the bottom simulated reflector. This is from a seismic reflection way, and you can find the bottom of the gas hydrate. So this could be the formation for the gas hydrate. Below that one could be the gas or methane. Of course, above that one, it can also be the gas. And this is not only in offshore southwestern Taiwan, even around the world, you can find everywhere. For example, this slide, you can see a lot of dots, and that means that the area you can infer some gas hydrate occurrence or some recovered already gas hydrate samples. For example, one in Taiwan, and this is one. This is one example that we recovered in 2018 gas hydrate just here, just off southwestern Taiwan, and this is a bucket of gas hydrate we collected. Okay. So as I mentioned, if the condition for the TB condition is not satisfied, the gas hydrate will dissociation. So in fact, most of the seabed gas, in fact, they come from the gas hydrate dissociation. For example, one unit of gas hydrate can dissociate with more than 150 units of gas. So there are a lot of gas could be due to the dissociation of the gas hydrate. Okay. So most of the seabed gas offshore southwestern Taiwan is also from the gas hydrate dissociation. Okay. And some phenomena can be you can find associated with such kind of gas hydrate dissociation. For example, sometimes you can find on the seabed, for example here, this is just an example, you can find some puck mark. That means there are some shell with hole and on top of the sea floor, and also like this one, and it's some puck mark. But sometimes if the gas hydrate, of course, if in good conditions, of course, it can block the type that can transmit the gas, sometimes from the gas hydrate. Of course, for a petroleum company, they don't like this one very much. Okay, and the other natural hazard that could be produced by the such kinds of gases. For example, you can cause some slope failure of the slope. Okay, of course, and because of the gas hydrate, also it can emit gas out of the seafloor, and sometimes because of slope failure, can also cause some tsunami. Okay. Okay. So now I give a more detail about this area, why I mentioned the southwestern Taiwan area. Okay. And this is the minor change extension all the way to Taiwan. So the context here is a compressive context. So this is a compressive margin. Okay. Okay, in this area, so this is still a minor change area. And this part is active margin because it's a compression, and this is still passive margin. Okay, so this is the area that's in the transition from passive to active margin. So in this area, but the color here, we show the location where we can find the BSR. As I mentioned, the BSR could be the indication of the gas hydrate. So in this area, you can find that if we can find some gas hydrate just in this color area, but not this white area. And what's the boundary? If we take a close look of this boundary, roughly about 600 meters. This could be the area. So below shallower than 600, that could be you can find no more gas hydrate, but instead you will find some migrating gases. That means the methane or CO2 in this area. But in this area, you can find a stable gas hydrate formation in this area. Okay, because the water is deep enough, so the pressure is large enough that can form the case hydrate. Okay, so we in fact we have examined almost all the data in this area and try to find out where you can find a gas and where you can find a gas ship or where you can find gas flare everywhere in this area. So the results turns out from here, example from here. So still the color area means that you can find a gas hydrate, and this is boundary between the gas hydrate and the area without gas hydrate. And in this area, we check all the data and we can find that in fact in this area, for example, this gas flare or gas plume, sometimes we call gas flare, sometimes some people call gas flare, in fact they are the same, okay? And if mark with the yellow star here, so you can find a lot of gas flare just in this area. But you can find seldom or almost none in the color area, and this is that means that almost all these gas flare, in fact, they are migrating gas due to the gas hydrate dissociation. Okay, because once they dissociate and you have the gas and will migrate and downward and upward, so you will cause such kind of gas flare. But sometimes the gas didn't abrupt the seabed, so you will find some in the purple symbol here is sometimes only the gas ship. That means only the gas contained in the seabed instead of emitted out of the seafloor. Okay, and sometimes if the emission is or eruptive is strong enough, it can also cause some volcano. That mean this red triangle area you can find some volcano. Okay. But in general, again, you can find almost the gas existence of this gas is start almost from 600 water depths. Okay, and this is general standard. That means this is general the area where you can start to find some gas flare in this area. That's mean this area. Okay, and in fact the slope is continuous slope is around 200 meters. So below that one is continuous slope. So these even a gas ship or gas flares, and in fact they are just overlapping with the continuous slope. So that's why the gas flare or the gas ship can also cause some slope failure because they are in the same locations. Okay, so this is general case I can find just of South Korea and Taiwan. Okay. Okay, give you more detail about the image. If you have some subpattern profile or so-called chirp profile, and for example, this one you can see very clearly the sedimentary layer, but sometimes you have some blanking. Okay, but so this is so-called a gas ship. Okay, but sometimes if the gas emitted or cause some very high pressure, it can also uplift some shallow part of the sedimentary layers. For example, like this one. Or sometimes if the pressure is really strong enough, okay, it can erupt out of the seabed and cause some hollow area of the seafloor, so-called we call it a magma area. Okay, so this is generally the gas and it can form some geological feature in the gas hydrate content area because of the dissociated gas that can cause gas ship or magma or volcano, and also of course if the gas is strong enough, of course you will find a gas flare. Okay. Okay, this is an image of the side scan sonar. So the side scan sonar you can also find a gas flare just out of this is seafloor, out of seafloor, you have a lot of gas flare. Okay, and sometimes you can also find carbonate, very strong intensity, backscatter intensity here, and this is carbonate in on top of the seafloor. Okay, this is a general context. sometimes if you are a sediment here and if you have a migrating gas into the sediment, sometimes it's called a corrosive environment, or is corrosive, okay? But sometimes we can find also some sulfate in the sediment, and due to this reaction, sometimes you can find some carbonate, as I mentioned, carbonate on top of the seafloor, or you can find hydrogen sulfide in here. Sometimes you can also find pyrite in the sediments or on top of the seafloor. Okay, but especially I want to mention about the hydrogen sulfide. All of this, of course, is because if you have enough supply of the mason, so you can cause such kind of environment. Okay, and now if you have this one, but if you have hydrogen sulfide, that's good, because if you need if you want to have a chemosynthetic this reaction, so you can in the hydrogen. Okay, so this is also related to the area that you have the mason, so you can have such kind of the chemosynthetic reaction. Okay, geologically, because of this the gas inside the sediment or out of the seafloor, and also because also in southwestern Taiwan is compressive content. So sometimes we can even find more diapir just here. I can find a lot of diapir. If you take a profile here, you will find this is a seismic profile. So you can find a lot of more diapir. This is diapir. Of course, it's because of the charge of the gas and because of the compression. So you will cause a lot of multi-appear here. And sometimes you can also find some small island. For example, this one, we call it Shaliocho Island. This is a small island caused due to the multi-appear, and it was formed just on top of one of the multi-appears. You can find here. If you have been to Taiwan, you can visit this island, and you can see this is a Shaliocho Island. It is a very small island. But if you look carefully, just in the middle of this island, you can find a structure quite linear, almost cut across this small island. And this is almost, orientation is almost a north-south orientation this way, okay? But in fact, this is quite dangerous in terms of geological hazard. Why I say so? Because if this is profile cut across this just a little bit to the north of this Shaliocho Island. Shaliocho Island is somewhere here, So you can find the linear feature just cut across the Shaliocho Island. In fact, is one of the potential failure surface. So I guess that the western part of Shaliocho sometimes will slump and then will become disappear because of slumping. So that means that this island, even it was formed due to the diapir, but it has a potential of natural hazard problem in the futures or even now. Okay, and so this is general common sense. If you have dissociated gas or immediate out of gas flare, and it can cause some slow failure of this area. Okay, so for example, this is another example you can call a slow failure. Okay, and as I mentioned, the gas hydration can only form just in a certain distance of the below the seafloor. So for example, this hash area, this could be the area that you can have gas hydrate. But below this is the one, this is also a free gas. So if the slope is strong enough, is large enough, sometimes you will cause a very steep of the BSR. And here, that means the migrating of the gas were very strong. So that's why the reason you can cause some volcano in this area, okay? And this is the reason why some area you have volcano and some area you don't find any volcano. And here, let's show you some volcano, okay, also due to this gas flare. And this is image. Can show you that some really gas flare just out of one of the volcano of southwestern Taiwan, okay? And I want to emphasize that this such kind of gas flare is not all the time. It is periodically you have a gas emission. Sometimes it's very quiet. Sometimes you have a lot of gas flare out of the seafloor, okay? This is an example, okay, show you that only on top of the same volcano, sometimes you get very fine, very intensive gas flare. Sometimes almost nothing, okay? Sometimes very, very extensive. So that means this gas flare, in fact, is the emission intensity is periodically, it's not only quiet or very eruptive, it's periodically variation, okay? And in fact, okay, this is also 1 day image of the, you can see that the case of gas flare. Of course, this plankton, this is root plankton or something, okay? So you can find the vertical migration of the root plankton. But here I want to mention not a root plankton, but just this gas flare, okay? You can see the gas flare out of volcano everywhere. Okay, because the gas emit out of the seafloor, it will cause the vibration or the tremor of the seabed. So this is one example that we recorded the seafloor migration by using the ocean balance seismometer. And this is 1 day, and so this is a whole month of the seabed vibration. So you can see sometimes the seabed vibrate very strong, sometimes very quiet. So you can see there is tidal variation very strong, linked to the tidal variation. Okay, of course this is due to the emission out of the seafloor, and you can see that's one. This is just an example, show you that the such kind of gas emission they are closely associated or related to the tidal variation. So that means sometimes you have very high emission of the gas flare, sometimes almost nothing, because they are closely linked to the tidal variation. Okay, I cannot give you the detail, but just give an idea that the gas emission is periodically. Okay. Another example, I quickly, because timing probably is up, I give you an example. The gas flare can be also in the context of the volcano area. For example, this Okinawa area, you can see a lot of submarine volcano marked by the yellow area. And this is some volcano. And also you can find some gas flare here. Okay. And this flare, another view from this gas flare, very strong out of the seafloor. This is in contrast to the gas hydrate content area. This is above volcano area. So volcano area you can see also find gas flare, and you can also find the gas just intrude into the sediment layer. Also you can find gas flare. Also you can find.
You have 3 more minutes to present.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
Sorry to disrupt you.
Okay, no problem. Okay, I finish in 3 minutes. Okay. So you can see in such kind of volcano area, you can find also some gas flare. This is also from side scanner image, but you can see some. This is from the ROV video, and we even collected some mineral or some sample, rock sample from this area. Okay, and this is better area. And the same as I mentioned, this is similar, but this is again, this is in hydrothermal activity area or volcanic volcanic area, pick out volcanic area. Well, this is just want to pay your attention that in such kind of context, instead of our southwestern Taiwan, in the Okinawa top area, southern Okinawa top area, you can find such kind of image, you can find a gas flare. And because this flare is generally associated with hydrothermal circulation, so it can also provide a very wonderful site for some seafloor mining potential area. This is not especially for metalliferous sediment. You can find all kind of mineral in the sediment, so it's very potential for the mining area for such kind of gas flare, of course. Okay, so just give us a very conclusive remark. So seabed, in fact, the gas flare can be either from the gas hydrate contained margin area, such as the offshore southern Taiwan, or even in the volcanic area, such as the southern Okinawa Trough, where you have a very strong hydrothermal activity area. Okay, and in terms of the gas hydrate area, sometimes the seabed gas emission, it will cause some seabed slope instability, so it will cause some geological hazard due to this gas emission. But instead, if you are in a hydrothermal activity area, such as southern Okinawa Trough area, where you may find some very interesting seabed mineral resources. So even so, what I want to say is that you can gas flare is a common feature around the world, but they could be appear in a different context of the geological context. So you can find a gas flare. Okay. So okay, I will stop here. Thank you for your attention. Thank you. Okay.
All right, thank you very much. Please give applause to Professor Xu. Now we are welcome Dr. Professor Marimutu. Are you here, Prof. Marimutu?
Yes, Prof. Yes, Prof.
Okay.
Irham. Yeah.
You have, as I said before, you have 35 minutes to present your scientific research. So time is yours right now.
Okay. Could you please allow me to share the screen, Prof. Irham?
Yeah.
Is it visible, my screen, Prof. Irham? Is it visible, Prof. Irham? Okay,
You are good now.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, everyone, and good morning, the organizing committee. And thank you for inviting me to deliver this keynote. And thank you, Dr. Hakel, for giving this good opportunity to interact for this joining this conference. So I'm going to present a review on immunostimulants application in sustainable aquaculture. So this is the topic I have chosen for today's presentation. This is Dr. Marimutu, actually working from AIMS University for the last 17 years. And this is the university in Malaysia currently I'm working on. Basically, it's a medical university. So I've been attached with the Faculty of Applied Sciences and teaching biostatistics, aquaculture, and immunology, etc. So today presentation, I will be covering, these are the flow of presentation, my research area, a little bit I'll highlight, and then global aquaculture, fish production and the capture fisheries and aquaculture. And what are the challenges aquaculture and fisheries we are facing today, and a little bit about the fish immune system and why chemotherapy and vaccination in aquaculture is very important. And then what is the application of immunostimulants, immunomodulators in aquaculture and fisheries for sustainable aquaculture. And I will give you some examples of immunostimulants and then functions of immunostimulants. What are the factors will affect the efficacy or efficiency of the immunostimulants when we use them in aquaculture feed formulation, and what are the characteristics of an ideal immunostimulants. So participant, please take note that variety of immunostimulants have been explored from natural as well as synthetic compounds to improve the immune response of the fish, to increase the survival of the fish. Okay. So I will cover at the end with the conclusion and the concluding remarks with the, yeah. So my research area basically is aquaculture and fisheries, breeding and seed protection of commercially important freshwater fish species like Ikan haruan and Ikan kelly, and I have been working on snakehead fishes for culture and breeding of air-breathing fish species. And I have done a couple of research on nutritional related nutritional requirements of freshwater fishes, and then working on fish immunology, fish immunomodulators used in aquaculture, and then also have done a couple of works on toxic effects of pollutants in fish models. So this is actually funded by the Indian government. We have received a lot of fund for developing the breeding technology for Ikan haruan. In Malay, we used to call it, this is Ikan haruan. It's a freshwater, highly delicious freshwater fish species. I think Indonesia also, the fish is available, we call them. And this fish has got a lot of medicinal value. And when people come from operation, so doctors will advise consume this. So this will enhances the wound healing properties. You know, they will very fast, they do get recovery from the operation. So we have standardized the breeding method, how to breed them in the laboratory conditions. So funded by the Department of Science and Technology, New Delhi, India. So we have standardized it, and we have got around 10 more papers on this particular area. We have published it. Maybe my papers are available in the Google and the Science Direct. And in Malaysia, I have this is very common fish, Ikan kelly and African catfish. Very common fish and more delicious fish in Malaysia and Indonesia, Thailand. And very easy to breed and very easy to culture them. And many farmers in Malaysia, they are culturing this catfish species. So I use this species as a model, teaching model for my students, how to understand the breeding methods for my students. So we have also published a couple of work on catfish breeding in a lot of journals. So then I'll cover with a little bit about the global aquaculture overview. And we all know that fisheries and aquaculture is actually an important source of livelihood, an important source of food, important source of nutrition, income and livelihood for hundreds of millions of people around the world. So fish production was about 179 million tons in 2018 as per the Food and Agriculture Organization. So population is expected to reach 9.7 billion by 2050. Hence, lot of expectation from the oceans, from the freshwater resources to gain more fish production and to meet the burgeoning population, to meet the adequate nutrition for the projected population globally. So people are now focusing more on aquaculture in variety of ways, in restorative aquaculture, even biofloc aquaculture technology, intensive, extensive, exploring freshwater as well as marine aquaculture systems. So this table will give you some overview of global fish productions and aquaculture. So 96.4 million tons of fish we harvested from capture fisheries, marine source, and 82.1 million tons of fish we were harvested in 2018 from freshwater aquaculture, total aquaculture, sorry, including freshwater as well as marine. Whereas the 96.4 is only capture fisheries from the inland and marine capture fisheries. So then I would like to give you, actually the participants are very diversity participant, this particular session, multidisciplinary. So I would like to give you some overview and importance of fish and aquaculture general. So fish, all we know that is a vital source, important source of protein for people. About 3.2 billion people worldwide, they rely on fish as a primary source of food. And fish contain 18 to 20% protein, an excellent source of essential minerals and vitamins, fatty acids, and very, very important for cardiovascular protective and many other immune response and cancer protective, and many research has been proven. It enhances several health benefits. And then the fish meat is easily digestible when compared to other animal protein sources. Fish meat, around, when you consume 100 grams of fish, 95% the fish you consume is easily digestible in our body. The remaining 5% will come as a fecal material. And compared to other animals, fish are highly multiplication capacity. meaning they do produce a lot of progeny to the next generations. 1 kilo fish for some of the freshwater fishes, they give 100,000 young ones. 100,000 young ones for the next generation. So compared to other animal, fish has got high fecundity. High fecundity means they produce more progeny to the next generations. And then low energy requirement. And compared to other animal like a cow and a goat and pig, culture of fish more economically viable. Reason, they do require less energy to maintain and produce a protein. And better food conversion ratio, they are efficient converter. If you give 1.5 kg of feed, they convert them into flesh. So highly efficient when compared to other farm animals. So having said that, aquaculture industry is a very promising industry and more profitable industry. But there are some threats, there are some what you call weaknesses, there are some constraints, so we can overcome by technological advancements. So I have already mentioned that fish considered as a nature superfood. Fish is considered nature superfood, meaning it has got variety of minerals, variety of vitamins, which is very needed for our normal day-to-day health. And research has shown that reduced level of incidence of diabetic, reduced level of cardiovascular diseases, reduced level of what you call colon cancer, and a lot of research have been published on consumption of fish on human health. So then many developing countries, fish is one of the cheapest and richest source of animal protein and essential nutrients meeting their health. So what are the challenges? I have given you some overview of aquaculture and fisheries. What are the challenges then? So there is a more pressure on aquaculture now. So people are going to go for more production. We are going to go for intensive fish culture. So this intensive fish culture, which gives a lot of stress on fishes, and wherein a lot of bacterial and viral diseases also problem, parasitic infection, and medicines we are using. Some farmers are using more antibiotic and more what you call medicines and pesticides for controlling pests, bioforeign structures when you use cage culture and other organisms or what you call damage the structures, aquaculture systems, and toxins are produced by algae and the climatic change. So these are the challenges how we are going to overcome in aquaculture. So among this, disease actually is one among the most leading factor affecting the fish productions and farming worldwide. So what do you mean by intensive aquaculture? Intensive aquaculture means in a small area, net enclosure, a small tank, small culture system, we stock more number of fish. And what you call, we take care of them like we stock more fish, we give what you call high intensity feed, and we also give what you call water recirculations, and fish culture being practiced in fresh water, fish culture also practiced in salt water, fish culture in practiced in brackish water. So intensive fish culture practiced in enclosed spaces like cages and ponds. So intensive fish culture causes a number of stresses. When we stock them more number of fishes in a small area, 1 meters per area. So this will give you overcrowding, and then transportation, handling, grading, and poor water quality. So this will adversely affect the quality of the fish, health of the fish. This will create, the fishes are very susceptible to get infection. And once aquatic animals are got infected, it is very, very difficult to control them. But managing prevention is always better in especially aquatic animals. Whereas in the cattle, as a farming individual, the researcher, scientist, we can look at the symptoms of the animal very easily. They live on the land. Whereas in the aquatic animals, to observe the fishes, whether they got infected or not, it is very, very difficult to see them in the aquatic system. Okay, so the stressful environment also leads to the consequent suppression of the immune system and increasing the susceptibility of fish and shellfish to infectious diseases. So I also like to give you some overview of immune system of fish. Fish have both non-specific and acquired immunity. Non-specific means any pathogen penetrates the fish, the body will fight against naturally. Acquired means based on the antigen, based on the bacteria, based on the parasite, the body will develop, acquire some immunity, the responses. So what are the lymphoid organs are present in fish? Thymus, kidney, what you call spleen. So major lymphoid organs like other vertebrate animals. So non-specific innate natural immunity defense mechanism of fish. So fish not specific to any particular pathogen. Non-specific means not specific to any particular pathogen. it produces any pathogen, any parasites, any kind of toxins, the body will consider as a foreign body. So fishes are one of the most primitive vertebrates which possess non-specific defense mechanism such as phagocytic mechanism, macrophages, and granular leukocytes. So physically, the fish contains a lot of mucus. The fish contains thick layers of skin. The fish contains a lot of mucus and scales which protect, they eliminate any kind of pathogens. And also fish mucus contains a lot of enzymes, biochemical substances, will inhibit what you call any kind of microorganisms. So in that scenario, we have done a couple of studies on characterizing the mucus. So what we did, we have isolated the mucus from the fish, and then we have tested the mucus with a couple of pathogens, whether the fish mucus contains any antimicrobial property. So we have also isolated and characterized, and then we have tested with a couple of human pathogens and fish pathogen. So we found that acidic extracts of fish mucus of snakehead fish, Ican haruan, inhibits a couple of human pathogen and fish pathogen Aromonas hydrophila. And then we have also what you call quantified the minimum concentration. What concentration, minimum concentration effectively kill the pathogen. So we found that 0.066 microgram per ml is effective minimum inhibitory concentration, the 3% acetic acid extract. And then we have also characterized a couple of other freshwater fishes very commonly available in Malaysia. So these are the 6 species we have chosen for the study. So we have removed the mucus and extracted with the different extract, crude extract, acidic extract, aqueous extract, and TZM, trichloromethaxide extract. And we found that acidic extract of tilapia, acidic extract of backred fish were showing antimicrobial activity against E. coli. So then we narrowed down the acidic extract of tilapia and backred fish and tested with other human and fish pathogens. And we have calculated the minimum bactericidal concentration. So these are the concentration of mucus extract of acidic extract shown to have effective controlling other human and fish pathogens, gram-negative and gram-positive pathogens. So then we have also characterized other enzymatic levels in fish species mucus. And these are the fish species, and we have quantified protein content in the mucus, lysosome activity, alkaline phosphatase, esterase activity, and protease activity. So overall, the lysosome activity very high in Channa striatus. They are carnivorous fishes. They produce a lot of enzymes. Ikan haruan, which produces a lot of enzymes, which contains more lysosome activity, and also it contains more alkaline phosphatase, and also it contains more what you call proteases. So they are very, very hardy fish when compared to other freshwater fishes. So when you look at the specific defense mechanism, there are two divisions: humoral and cell-mediated. Humoral means it consists of lysozyme, hemolysin, immunoglobulins, and cytokines. So these are available, and these are present in the fish blood. So this will what you call specifically eliminate or fight against any pathogens. So cell-mediated means like phagocytic cells, neutrophils, mostly white blood cells, natural killer cells, and lymphocytes are involved in cell-mediated. Any foreign pathogen penetrate the fish. So these cells are activated by the cell-mediated. So this will fight against and kill the foreign bodies. So what are the response of fish following an encounter with the pathogen? Any fish contact a pathogen, immediately the innate immunity like a mucus, scales, the fish skin contains a lot of antimicrobial substances. They fight against. So if are successful, no disease, no infection in fish. If it is not successful, the fish do get diseases. And then if it is not successful also, the fish initiate and insect a specific immune response. What are the immune response property? Humoral cell response, acquired immunity, and cell-mediated responses. So this will fight against diseases. And then the fish do get survive from the disease. If that doesn't work, the fish will die. So then what do you mean by the disease then? Any abnormal. Disease can be defined as deviation from the body from its normal and healthy state. And disease in fish can be caused by infectious and non-infectious agents. Infectious means it can contaminate from what you call one species to other species, the disease is transmitted. Non-infectious means the disease is not transmitted to the other individual. So disease actually is a major limiting factor in aquaculture industry, major limiting factor. So infectious, I would like to give you some of the examples: bacterial diseases, fungal diseases, viral diseases, parasitic diseases. Whereas as the non-infectious diseases, we call them nutritional deficiency diseases. If any due to any changes in the environmental parameters, we call them environmental diseases. When you use any pesticides, when you use any chemicals, antibiotics, the fish will develop a disease. We call them chemical disease, or biological, what you call any kind of changes in the water quality parameters like nitrogen, ammonia, carbon dioxide, pH. So these changes also will cause diseases. And then physiological diseases. Physiologically means inside there are some abnormality, like in human. Fishes also, physiologically they are abnormal. So look at here, the nutritional diseases, deficiency of any kind of nutrients, hypovitaminosis or malnutrition. And sometimes when you give excess nutrient, fish also will die. Sometimes when you give the what you call the poor quality feed, or the food is infected with any kind of fungus, and the food is what you call the quality of the food is not good. So the food also will produce some toxins. Rancid fats and toxins will affect and cause the nutritional diseases. Sometimes too much of feed you give them for the aquaculture fish also cause a disease. And then environmental disease, chemical disease, if any too much of ammonia, too much of even oxygen, too little oxygen, which causes a disease. So level of chemical in the water reaches a point that injures and death occurs. So physiological disease, abnormal functions in the organs of the fish. Organ development, poor, what you call swim bladder, kidney, or whatever inside, the abnormal organ development. Sometimes you do see abnormality in the fish, the what you call the vertebrae and so on. So I'm going to cover a little bit about the disease causing organisms, and very, very challenging. So disease are caused by a variety of what you call viruses, bacteria, fungi, protozoans, and crustacean parasites in freshwater as well as the marine brackish water aquaculture fish species. So to control the diseases, a variety of approaches have been used. One is a chemotherapy. It's widely used to control and prevent infectious, parasitic, bacterial, and fungal diseases. Several antibiotics such as oxytetracycline, amoxicillin, furazolidine, erythromycin, enrofloxacin have been used for controlling parasitic, bacterial, and fungal diseases. Variety of compounds also available in aquaculture industry and ornamental industry. So when we go for therapeutic agents controlling diseases, there are some problems. So when we use a mass quantity of antimicrobials for controlling diseases, and this will suppress the growth of the aquatic animals. And then development of drug-resistant bacteria may develop. Antibiotic accumulation in fishes. And then when you sell antibiotic or chemotherapeutic in what you call treated fishes, the consumer, they do have the reluctance to purchase the fish. They do not, the consumer, they have less preference when the fishes are treated with antibiotics. And then vaccination is another strategy. Vaccination, now people are going for COVID vaccines to prevent the infection of COVID. Same approach in fishes also. For the last 30-40 years, vaccination also common, but there are some advantages, there are some disadvantages. So vaccination advantages is most effective prophylactic agents controlling fish diseases, cell fishes, whereas they are relatively expensive and pathogen specific, strain specific. If you develop a particular vaccine, for example, COVID vaccine now, this will be specific only for a particular strain. And we have variety of viral diseases, we have variety of bacterial diseases. So we have to find a particular vaccine for a particular pathogens. So this is not overall. So this is one of the drawback for vaccination and not widely commercially used in aquaculture industry. So a number of vaccines are commercially available like bacterians, vibriosis, enteric red mouth diseases, and winter ulcer disease, bacterial kidney disease, salmonid rickettsias septicemia. So these diseases, commercially vaccines are available for salmon fish species. But the problem is commercial vaccines are very expensive for the small scale fish farmer and not effective against many commercial important bacterial pathogens and viral pathogens. So this approach can only induce adaptive or specific immunity for a particular pathogen, particular virus, particular bacteria. And this has not been so far successful with any any pathogen or intracellular pathogens. So hence immunostimulant is one of the viable approach. Immunostimulant is nothing but a group of biological synthetic compounds. So this enhances innate non-specific immune response in animals. So the term immunostimulant is often interchangeably pronounced, expelled in aquaculture. We call them immunostimulants, immunomodulators, adjuvants, and biological response modifiers. So variety of terms are used expressing the immunostimulants. So immunostimulants can be grouped under variety of divisions like chemical agents, bacterial preparations, polysaccharides, animal and plant extracts, herbal extracts, nutritional factors, cytokines, antibacterial peptides, and microorganisms. So they enhance the defense mechanism of the fishes, widely used for impaired immune function, widely used for any fish are suppressed with immune systems. So what are the functions of immunostimulants? Immunostimulants are nothing but biological substances are incorporated into the feed, and the incorporated feed fed to the fishes will stimulate antibody responses, will enhance its antibody. So the fish will be stronger enough, fight against the diseases. And the fish also stimulate lysosome activity. Fish stimulate the complement system, stimulate natural killer cells, increase the bactericidal activities, facilitates the function of the phagocytic cells. So these are the functions of immunostimulants. So examples of immunostimulants like lipopolysaccharides and glucans, chitins, lactoferrin, lavamisole, vitamins, even variety of plant extracts, azathioprine and piperine, curcumin, osmium sanctum, aloe vera extracts, even Ganoderma lucidum, a kind of mushroom, have been used as immunostimulant agents in fishes, have been explored in a variety of species. So what do you mean by beta glucans? Beta glucans are most commonly used immunostimulants in aquaculture. So commercially also, beta glucans incorporated and used as a incorporated feed in commercial aquaculture industry. So where do they develop? Where do they derive from? The Baker's yeast Saccharomyces, the cell wall of the particular yeast, the plant extract, yeast, seaweed, mushrooms, bacteria. So beta glucans are derived from the cell wall of these organisms, and after extraction incorporated with the fish feed, and then the feeds are offered to the fishes so that the fish develop disease resistant, and they will be strong enough and very strong to fight against the diseases. So herbal immunostimulants. Herbs are currently used in commercial aquaculture as a growth promoting substances. Variety of herbs have been explored as antimicrobial agents, as a nutrient, as immunostimulants, and immunomodulator properties have been explored in variety of fishes. So herbal drugs are known to possess immunomodulatory activity and generally act by stimulating both specific as well as non-specific immunity in fishes. I would like to give you a couple of examples of plants. A leaf extract of Osmium sanctum, we call them is one of the tulsi plant, and then we call them as a Nelumbo nucifera lotus, Solanum trilobatum, Phyllanthus emblica amla, Asatrica indica neem plant, aloe vera, piper betel, and Morea colungi, and Mentha pepita. This is very commonly we as a human we used to consume, and these particular plant extracts have been explored, have been studied in fishes to elucidate antimicrobial activity, and variety of Chinese herbs, Polygonum multiforum and Clisaricia glabra, Canoderma lucidum, so one of the mushroom species, have been studied in fish model about the immunomodulatory activity in variety of fishes. So this particular table is so lengthy and very small, sorry for it, and variety of studies published in, and what solvents used, and what extract were used, and what concentration they used it, and what mode of administration, through the diet, through the dip treatment, how much duration, and which species, and what is the initial weight of the fish, and what pathogen they tested with, what dose they used it, and what are the properties they studied and authors. So majority studies shown that the elevated property, and this particular slide show you the herbal utilization of herbal immunostimulant utilization in aquaculture industry. And this is another table. herbal immunostimulants, various concentration used in fish culture. So herbal plants stimulate both humoral and cell mediated, already I have mentioned. Others activate only the cellular components of the immune system, like phagocytic functions. So some plants are rich sources of like volatile acids, saponins, phenolics, tannins, alkaloids, polysaccharides, and polypeptides. So they are rich in these sources. These compounds enhances the immunity in fishes. So that is what nowadays people are going for, what you call traditional medicine for killing the property, enhancing our immune system. So these natural plant products have various activities: anti-stress, appetizer, antimicrobial agents, immunostimulants. So in this connection, so we have also one of my student. We studied mangosteen. This is very common in Indonesia, very common in Malaysia, and we found that the internal part only we consume. The rest we normally throw away. The pericarp, the rind we throw away. So what we did, we extracted the compound from leaf, shoot, and also the pericarp, the rind. So we have taken the shoot, we have taken the pericarp, and the leaf, shoot, and rind of the mangosteen were included in the experimental diet at 5.5% level. The extract, and they were fed with African catfish, and we followed for 5 weeks. We recorded the growth. We recorded the survival rate. We recorded the food conversion ratio. So we did not see increasing concentration of this. All the extracts did not reduce the survival rate. However, it has enhanced the blood parameters like RBC. It enhances the WBC. It enhances hemoglobin when compared to control. All the extracts, but significantly the shoot extract and followed by the rind extract of mangosteen enhance the RBC, enhance the white blood cells, enhance the hemoglobin in the blood. So it shows that mangosteen shoot and the rind extract contains a kind of immunostimulatory activity, immunomodulatory activity. And then we also tested for garlic. Garlic normally we consume for supplements, food supplements. So what we did, the inner pulp only we consume. What you call the waste we don't consume. The waste we don't consume. Only this particular part only we consume. So what we did, we isolated this particular, the waste one, and extracted. And this waste were incorporated into the fish feed. 0, 5, 10, 15 gram per kg. The garlic were incorporated into the fish feed and tested in African catfish. So we found that increasing concentration of garlic did not reduces the survival. The survival even better when compared to control. The garlic waste, the peel fed fishes shown increased survival rate when compared to the control fish. And then it also elevated weight gain. It also elevated the specific growth rate when compared to control, and also it enhanced the protein, albumin, globulin, RBC and WBC, increasing concentration. There is increasing the blood parameters. So it says that elevated protein, albumin, globulin, RBC and WBC in garlic peel fed fishes than the control fishes. So shown that the garlic peel also contains the waste into wealth, the waste who do have antimicrobial activity. So we need to characterize what compounds which is available in this the garlic waste. So how do we evaluate? Lot of herbal, lot of what you call animal origins. The products have been used as immunostimulant. How do we test? How do we evaluate the efficiency used in aquaculture? Meaning there are two approaches. One is in vivo approach. Another one is in vitro approach. In vivo approach means protecting the test against the fish pathogen. So normally what do we do? The fishes are fed with immunomodulators and then challenge with the fishes. And then we look at the other parameters like in vitro effects. We look at the phagocytosis, radical productions, enzyme activity, migration activity, production of cytokines, nitrous oxide productions, bacterial killing, and antibody productions, cytotoxicity, cell division. So these are the parameters. These are the tests were used in vitro effects, testing the what you call immunomodulatory. Whereas the
You have 3 more minutes, please.
Thank you for the, thank you, Prof. Irham. I will do it. So in vivo effects, survival after challenging with the pathogens, antibiotic, antiparasitic effects. We also test the growth, induction of synthesis of antimicrobial substances. So variety of pathogens were successfully controlled by immunostimulant exposure in fish. Bacteria, virus, and parasites. Aeromonas and IHN and the yellowhead virus, viral hemorrhagic septicemia were controlled, were tested, were studied in fish controlling these parasites using immunostimulants. So what are the factors will affect the efficiency of the immunostimulant? The mode of administration. Whether are we administering through the diet or are we administering through the water, and how much time duration we are administering. What dose is very important. So as a researcher, when you are exploring antimicrobial substances from herbal origin, so we have to consider what mode we are going to go. We need to standardize the mode, the time duration of administration, the dosage of the administrations. So the research shown that immunostimulants can be administered in injection, bathing and oral through the diet. So intraperitoneal injection has been proved to be the best and most rapid, effective way of administration. So incorporation in the diet is regarded as the most suitable among when compared to the other one. So the method being the non-stressful, this will permit a larger number of fish to be treated at a minimum cost and a very reasonable effort. So timing of stimulant administration, immunostimulant administration. Immunostimulant may be administered separately or in combination with the vaccine. Immunostimulant must be administered to fish before they expose to a pathogen and infections. So what are the advantages of immunostimulant? So they improve the fish welfare, improve the health, improve the fish growth and productions. It facilitates the phagocytic cells, increase the bacterial cell activity, stimulates the natural killer cells, complement system, lysosome activity, antibody response in fish and shellfish, which confer enhanced protection against infectious diseases. So immunostimulants are valuable for the control of diseases, enhancing both specific and non-specific mechanisms. So another 2 slides, another 2 minutes, I'll be completing my slide. So participant, please put your audio in a mute mode. There are some noise over there from your side. So what are the characteristics of an ideal immunostimulants? It should be non-toxic. We have been using for a lot of herbal supplement, should not show any toxic effects. And then it should be non-carcinogenic, should not cause any cancer, should not have any long-term side effects. You can use any herbal, but the immunostimulant, the product should meet the following characteristics. So at therapeutic level, it should have short withdrawal period. There should not be the compound residue should be present in the tissue. So it should stimulate wide range of non-specific immune responses against bacteria, fungi, protozoa, and what you call nematodes, helminthes. So the breakdown products of compound concern should be either inactive or readily biodegradable in the environment when you go for deep treatment. And you should be having very defined chemical composition or biological activity. If not, you have to study the chemical composition of the particular herbal extract. And it should be active by oral route. It should be stable both in what you call native state and after incorporation due to the food and water. Sometimes some products after incorporation, the activity will be lost. And then it should be compatible with a range of drugs, including antibiotics and anti-helminthics used in aquaculture industry. So herbal extract have great potential as immunostimulant in aquaculture because they can be easily prepared, inexpensive, and act against a broad range of pathogen parasites. So most herbs and herbal extracts can be given orally, which is the most convenient method of immunostimulation in aquaculture. So in conclusion, immunostimulant can be a promising alternative to vaccines and antibiotics. So although vaccination is the most reliable method to control fish diseases, as yet no effective vaccine against a couple of diseases like a bacterial kidney disease and most viral infections, very common in shrimp and as well as in fishes. So immunostimulants are safer than other chemotherapeutic applications, vaccinations, antibiotics. Therefore, immunostimulants may be a powerful tool for controlling infectious diseases in aquaculture. So with that, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the organizer for giving this great opportunity. If there is any couple of questions, I'll be very happy to answer. So over to you, Prof. Muhammad Irham. Over to you. Thank you. I have done.
All right. Thank you very much. Give him applause. Thank you, Professor Marimutu. So the last speaker will be Professor Mailano. Are you here, Professor Mailano?
Professor Irham, do we need to wait for the last until there's a question and session, or can we leave?
Prof, you can wait until the last, unless you have important thing to do somewhere else.
Okay, okay,
So
okay.
because some question will be asked to
Okay,
you,
fine.
maybe,
Okay, okay.
to other professor also.
Okay, okay. Thank you, Dr. Irham.
Okay.
I do
Can you
wait.
stop your share screen, please.
Okay, okay.
All right. I think Prof. Mailano is not here yet because of the technical difficulties on his side. You know that from the side of Indonesia, we have a problem of the internet that broke down in nearby the Singapore and Batam. So a kind of the lack of the internet link. So I believe that Prof. Mailano have that difficulties on this one. So to save our time, we had heard two speakers spoke about their scientific find. So if you have some questions, would you please raise your hand, or you can write in the chat rooms so I can read it for the professor to answer your question. So audience in this room, please have a question. I'm going to take 3 questions for the first round, and then I'll let the speakers to answer the question based on the subject, based on the professor that you want to ask. All right, I'm going to take first question.
I will have a question, Dr. Irham.
Okay, Prof. Hegal,
Yeah.
you are first. I'm gonna, okay, just hold it. Okay, I'm gonna ask 2 more, and then
Okay.
you can ask the question after that.
Yeah, sure.
Hello?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah. Hello.
Hello, I want to ask a question to Prof. Kasi Marimutu.
Okay.
Yes, yes. Please proceed.
Just wait first, Pak Irwan. So if you are the second one after Pak Hekal. So,
Okay. Okay.
So we are waiting one more question from other Zoomer. So any other question?
Can I have question, please?
Sure. Okay, Pak Dedi. So first question from Pak Hekal, second from Pak Irwan, and then the third one will be Pak Dedi. So we welcome you, Pak Hekal, first. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pak Dr. Irham. Prof. Shukun is still here?
Yes, I'm still here. Yeah.
Okay, Prof. I would like to say thanks for your kind join to our conference. It's been a while that we not have a discussion. I'm so happy to see your presentation today. It's so glad that a lot of contribution being brought out by the Taiwan, especially from National Central University, from your laboratory. This is a tremendous contribution for us in the marine geophysics and marine geology section. I would like to have to ask you a question. We have this in our northern coast of Indonesia, of Aceh especially. We have the Sumatra fault continues to the offshore region. If I'm not mistaken, saw your slide, you have shown the related submarine landslide with the fault structure, as well as with the volcanic activities underwater. So, however, in our case, we do not see any BSR. Yeah, we cannot find any BSR. So, do we have a chance to find the volcano, underwater volcano, like because to scan all the seafloor is very difficult. So if we can observe from the bathymetry, the topology of bathymetry, is it close to the submarine landslide location or close to the fault or the volcanic region? How do you can explain these things?
Yeah, you mean in the case of Sumatra Fault area?
Yeah, at the Sumatra area, we have the fault continues to the offshore. Yeah.
Yes, but it depends because the volcano of course generally just occur just at depths. I mean the magma partially just occur at a depth of around 100 kilometer deep. Okay, so if just above this location, if it's in marine environment, for example, in our case, is the Okinawa Trough, so you may have the backup volcanism. But in your case, of course, some location above the 100 deep location, I mean the stop slab above the subducted slab area, sometimes on land. So you will just find the volcano on land. That's for. But sometimes, but I think that between Sumatra and some other area, you still have some volcano just in the water area, just in the marine area. So that in that area, you of course you will have a marine some volcano area. That is, it always depends on the the location and the slab depths. Okay, so in general, if you have the depth, just location, just at the slab around 100 kilometer deep, and then you will find a volcano. But on top, if of course it's on land, so you will find a land volcano. But if it's a marine environment, you will find a volcano in marine settings. That's the general case. Okay.
One more, Professor.
Yes.
Is there any evidence of the submarine landslide in Taiwan or the eruption of the underwater volcano in Taiwan create a mega disaster like tsunami?
We may have a small one, maybe not big enough, but for example, because of all the volcano in Taiwan is located just in the northern part of on land or offshore area. For example, the Dr. volcano is on land, but offshore area there's still some volcano. And in 1867, we have a so-called tsunami. And most of people now believe that this kind of tsunami is a local volcano eruption, submarine volcano eruption, and cause the collapse and cause a very local tsunami. Okay, and the other case is probably we have also called Turtle Island, just offshore Eden Plain area, just the southwestern end of the Okinawa area. There is a small island, volcanic island called Turtle Island, and we find there are a lot of landslide just to the north of this volcano. Of course, we didn't find any evidence of the tsunami deposit. Okay, but for the Keelung area, of course, we suppose the tsunami was linked to a collapse of the volcano, submarine volcano. Okay, that's the case now we have only. Okay.
Okay, for one more advice from Professor Sukun. I know we have a lot of our students here join the conference as well. Do you have any advice for these young students to how they can approach this level of studies or scientific research that you've shown to us today?
Well, this is a discipline of marine geology and geophysics, of course. Okay, but I think your country and our country, we are all surrounded by the marine environment. So I think that it's a good chance or good opportunity to have such kind of exploration or studies. Okay, for example, in Taiwan, we still have several research vessels. You have probably also have some. And this is if you have such kind of a facility, you can do a lot of such kind of marine works. And because the marine work is become more and more important, so I think that and especially the geology or geophysics, they are also very close to the biology. In fact, they have some relationship with that one. So if a student want to have such kind of study, of course, they are welcome also. If they want to come to Taiwan, of course, they are welcome, very welcome, okay? Yeah, that's why I want to say. But anyway, in the future, the ocean, not only the marine geology, but also the other fields, I think there's very will be a very important work for most of the people. Okay. Okay.
Thank you
That's
very
what I
much,
want to
Dr.
say.
Kun. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you
Okay.
very much.
Thank you. Yeah.
Oh, thank you very much. I forgot to unmute mine. I talk and you can't hear me very much. I'm sorry for my mistake. So, Pak Irwan, would you please ask question? So your turn is right now. Are you here?
Okay, Mr. Irham, thank you. Okay, I want to ask some question to Prof. Kassim Marimutu.
Thank you, please.
Maybe your presentation is very interested with the immunostimulants. I want to ask you to what is the relationship between immunostimulant with the bioactive compound? Maybe that's produced from the plant or marine organism. What is the effective the bioactive compound to increase the immunostimulants? Thank you.
Sorry. So instead of giving a selective bioactive compound, bioactive compounds are called immunostimulants. Bioactive compounds are called immunostimulants. Instead of giving a selective bioactive compounds, we give them the whole extract, whole compounds, whatever it is present in the plant extract, tested in the fishes so far. And one of the bioactive compounds is beta-glucan, lavamisole, or bioactive compounds. Is that fine? My question is that clear?
Okay, clear. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Pak Irwan. Now turn to Bapak Dedi. Are you here? Pak Dedi.
Thank you, Dr. Ilham. How are you, Prof. Kassim Marimutu?
Fine. I'm good.
It was a very comprehensive and very outstanding presentation.
Thank you.
It means a lot. I'd like to ask you a question about the immunostimulants on fish aquaculture. Is it what are the possibilities that will occur if the administration of the immunostimulants in fish is kind of excessive? Maybe you could give some example for that one. And the second one is maybe could you give some example of the commercialization of this immunostimulant, especially of herb immunostimulants on aquaculture? Maybe you could give some example in your country or in Malaysia. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So your first question is the mode of administration. The mode of administration is through diet is economically viable. Instead of going to go for injection, it is very impossible, injection. So when you stock one culture system, they stock 10,000 or what you call 20,000 progeny or 20,000 young ones. So it is very, very difficult to inject manually. So our most commonly used approach is, the strategy is the immunostimulants incorporated through feed is economically viable and very commonly used. And a couple of CP aquaculture industry, they do have immunostimulants incorporated diets. And variety of commercial feeds are available in the country. Variety of feeds in different feed companies, CP, Aqua, then other feed industry also. They do have the immunostimulants incorporated feed commercially available. in Malaysia as well as in India. So a couple of even ornamental feed formulation also, it comes with herbs, herbs in enhanced the ornamental feed. Maybe many products from China also available in ornamental feed industry, in ornamental fish farming.
All right.
It's okay. I think it's quite interesting that the use of immunostimulant in aquaculture. I heard some herb, they have a side effect. Besides, they also can promote the immune system of fish. They also have another effect that can inhibit the growth of the fish. Is it?
That's what. So while exploring the study, while conducting the study, we need to optimize the dose. That's what I have mentioned. How much dose is optimal? How much dose does not inhibit the growth, does not inhibit the survival rate. That permissible limit concentration is effective concentration. The effective concentration we have to study by trial and error. So each species we have to elaborate. We need to study. Suppose you are looking for immunostimulant for a prawn or a shrimp. We need to first test with what you call in a field trial. So one among the characteristic is there should not any toxic. Then only we can consider them as immunostimulant. Overdose is not recommended.
Do you have a particular example of this herb immunostimulant that support both function, like immune system also they can support the growth promoter?
Many studies have shown, even our studies also, when mangosteen extract we tested, garlic we tested, both the studies we found that survival is not compromised, where provided the growth also not compromised, but elevated what you call the hematological parameters. So indirectly it shows that the waste also do have immunomodulator activity, and many studies are available. I recommend you to refer a journal called Fish and Shellfish Immunology. More research findings, and you can look for specifically looking for immunostimulants. Maybe 500 hours immunostimulant research article will be available in Fish and Shellfish Immunology, the one journal alone. Every issue,
it's really interesting. Besides you use the how to say terrestrial herb, you also use the herb from marine also.
Marine seaweeds also have been used. Marine seaweeds. Marine seaweed also can be recommended. Marine algae, spirulina, chlorella, and macroalgae have been explored. Seaweeds also do have a lot of immunomodulator activity, and many studies have been published.
Okay. Because I also hear that some myth, or this is true or not, because how come you can give the marine plant to the terrestrial animal? It's better to give the marine plant to marine animal and then the terrestrial plant to terrestrial animal. What do you think about this statement?
No such. Actually, we are living in terrestrial, but we are consuming marine fishes as a human. So why can't we?
It's quite
interesting. But so no such actually. So God has created for all the animals. All the animals, we live together, interact one another. We depending on one another. So sharing the resources, but only thing is we have to look at the sustainability. We should not harm other animals. We should not, optimally utilize the resources. Okay.
Yeah.
Optimally, we need to utilize the resource. We should not damage the ecosystem, spoil the ecosystem. So we need to preserve for the next generation as well.
Yeah, I agree with that. Thank you very much. This question.
Thank you.
Dr. Professor Karimoto.
Yeah, thank you.
Back to Dr. Irham. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. So now.
May I have one more question, Dr. Irham?
Just wait, okay, because we are going to call Prof. Mailano first. Is Prof. Mailano here yet? No, okay. We have round 2 right now, so I'm gonna take 3 questions. So anyone have have questions? Raise your hand first.
Dr. Irwan is already here.
Oh, all right. So we are waiting for Dr. Prof. Mailano. So I think we have to save our time, so we're going to end up at 11:20. So, Prof. Melano, you have 30 to 35 minutes to present your scientific research. Later on, we're going to have a question and answer. So those two speakers before have already talked, so you are the last one. So time is yours. Thank you.
Very good morning, everyone. Thank you, Pak Muhammad Irham. And I'm very sorry for being late in joining these very important symposiums. Since one of our seniors lecturer just passed away this morning, so I need to help the family members for all related things to the process. So I'm very sorry for being late. So in this very important symposiums, I'd like to share our experience, the lesson that we can learn from two devastating earthquakes in Indonesia, the Palu and Ambon earthquakes. So please allow me to share my screen. I hope that you can see my screen clearly. Okay. So today, I'd like to share our experience when we involved with BNPB and others national teams to respond to earthquakes in Palu and Ambon, the 2018 Palu earthquakes and 2019 Ambon earthquakes. And there are 4 topics that I would like to share. The first one I would like to share with all of you the recent earthquakes in Indonesia, not only Ambon and Palu earthquakes, but overview of several big earthquakes that happens in Indonesia. Most of them in the recent years, most of the earthquakes occurred in the eastern part of Indonesia. And the second part of my talk, I'm going to share the Palu and Ambon earthquakes. And the third ones, and I really hope to open discussion and these topics is in line with the idea of the symposiums, the multidisciplinary challenge to overcome the future's disasters. And the last part, I will want to hear comments and discussions for all the audience. Okay, some of my slide that I'm going to share today has been published in this paper and just appears a month ago at the Seismological Research Letter. So I'm very happy to share the PDF file if you are interested in studying in detail about the Ambon earthquakes. And as a conclusion, as a conclusion for my talk, the first conclusion is the 3 very unusual earthquake phenomena occur in Palu. The first one is ground ruptures. The second one is the tsunamis, and of course, very strong ground shaking. And the last one is liquefaction-induced landslide. That's the first conclusions. And the second conclusion is related with the Ambon earthquakes. The earthquakes in Ambon originated from a fault that had not been previously defined in the Indonesian earthquake hazard map. So this is a very serious challenge in Indonesia for Indonesian scientists, because the earthquakes, we don't have any clue or we don't have any information related with the Ambon earthquake prior to the earthquakes. So I think it is a very challenge for Indonesia to understand the earthquake sources better. And the last conclusions, the case of Palu and Ambon earthquakes have many unique challenges, unusual problems, and the trade-off between earth sciences, legal rules, community involvement, and disaster knowledge. Okay, let me start the first part of my talk, the recent earthquakes in Indonesia. And before sharing the recent earthquakes, I just want to show you one of the issue published in the Reuters, the newspaper, and they mentions that this is published a few months after Lombok and Palu earthquakes, and the news is Indonesia's double disaster exposed earthquakes, lesson not learned. This is something that happens all the time in Indonesia. Why aren't we getting better at handling it? It is according to the newspaper. So I just want to point it out. At least this reflects the people opinions regarding the earthquake. So for them, it seemed that some of us never learned from the past disaster. I think it's very important to try to get as many as information from the previous events of disaster. And then for the last 3 years, at least Indonesia, the eastern part of Indonesia, experienced 4 major earthquakes. The first earthquakes occurred on July and August 2018, the Lombok earthquakes, and that earthquake killed almost 600 people. And a month after, we have September 2018 Palu earthquakes that killed, I think the casualties number more than 5,000 people, not only caused by tsunamis, but also liquefaction, ground shaking, and so on. And that earthquakes follow years after by Ambon earthquakes, magnitude 6.5, and again, more than 40 people killed by that earthquakes. And in the beginning of this year, January 2021, we have earthquake with magnitude 6.2. 6.2 we can consider 6.2 is not a big earthquake or a major earthquake, but this earthquake killed more than 100 people in Mamuju and Majene area. So, and the total number of casualties is probably more than 7,000, and economic loss is almost $2 million. And then, if we try to take a look at the same area 100 years ago, it seemed that in the past, the same earthquakes occur almost at the same regions. So I think the issue raised by the Reuters newspapers a month after Lombok earthquake, I think it's to some extent is valid, because it seemed that we don't learn a lot from the previous disaster. Because, for example, just to mention, in the year 18 and 15, almost 10,000 people killed by the earthquakes occurred in the area between Lombok and Bali. And also in the 1974, about 2,000 people killed by the earthquake and tsunami that hit an area southern part of Ambon, and then and several other big earthquakes occurred in the past. But the same disaster happens repeatedly. So I think it is very important to learn from the past disaster. And then Indonesian governments try to respond to disaster by publishing the national standards for hazard map. We call it the Indonesian PSHA, Probabilistic Seismic Hazard Analysis. The first map was published in 1966, and the latest map was published in 2017. And 2017 became the national standard 2 years later. So it's become the standard 2007, 2019. So we already have our building code even since 1966. And then, and this is the earthquake source zone defined by the Indonesian seismic hazard map. This is the locations of the earthquakes located along the subduction zone. And also we have already defined an earthquakes not only subduction zone but the inland strike slip earthquakes. And according to the latest seismic hazard map, the numbers of active fault rise from 81 become 265. So now we have more numbers of defined earthquake sources in Indonesia. But although we already have defined so many earthquake zones, but still some of earthquakes we cannot explain the locations, the magnitudes, the mechanisms before it happens. Just to mention the PD Jaya earthquake, for example, this fault never mentions in our seismic hazard map, and also the Ambon earthquakes is also the same. And then what lesson that we can learn from Palu and Ambon earthquakes? The Palu earthquakes is what we call as a multi-hazard disaster, including ground shaking, tsunami, coastal, slope failures, liquefactions, and surface fall rupture. And the number of casualties is almost 5,000 and 70,000 household damages. And then in terms of the earth science, the most interesting part of this earthquake, I'm sorry to call it interesting, but in terms of the earthquake scientist, I'm considered myself as an earthquake scientist. This earthquake is very interesting and it's very important to be studied because the rupture velocity is very fast. It's very uncommon for earthquakes occur in Indonesia, not only Indonesia but also worldwide, because the velocity is more than 4 kilometers per second. The number of earthquakes is half of them. The number of earthquakes is about 2 kilometers per second. So in terms of the rupture velocity, in terms after the process of the earthquake, this is very fast earthquakes. And then this rupture process may produce tsunamis without we include the submarine landslide. This kind of earthquakes may produce, this kind of rupture may produce significant tsunamis. And also we define, so a few weeks after the earthquakes, we visited the area and we see a typically offset due to the strike slip motions of the earthquakes. And we also observe by GPS, and one clues that we can get from the GPS, it indicates the heterogeneity in slip during the earthquake. So there are two important and distinctive phenomena of the earthquakes. The first one is the rupture durations, and the second one is the heterogeneity of the slips. And for the Ambon earthquakes, this earthquake killed more than 40 people. And I just want to point it out some active fault that mapped by seismic hazard map of Indonesia, showing by the black lines. So you can see the black lines in the north, the Seram Trough, and in the center, the North Buru and the Manifa active faults, and the South Buru in the south. But according to our national hazard map, we never it seems that regarding the active fault is still not complete enough to explain the activity in area Ambon and Seram Islands. And then, so to understand the mechanism of the earthquakes, we use the focal mechanisms data and also the aftershocks observations, and also we analyze the INSAR data, the ALOS pulsar. So we successfully define the slip distributions, the locations of the faults, and it's very sad to tell us that this map this fault is the fault that we never mapped before. So it is something that we don't understand prior to the earthquakes. And this is one of the findings that we can analyze during our research. So we estimate what we call as the column stress changes, showing by the blue and red colors. So the red color is the positive changes, and usually the positive changes means the possibility of increasing the earthquake in the future. So we can, according to our results, we can share the information that in the future, some things that we don't we don't hope to happens, but according to our findings that the North Buru Fault, the one in the north, the stress is increasing, and also in the South Buru, the stress is increasing. So probably the next events may occur at those regions. And then I just want to go from the hard science of the earthquakes to more the multidisciplinary approach. And then I just want to show you our experience together with the AERI teams. To analyze the temporary shelter or temporary relocations housing for the evacuees, for the people who evacuate, and then most of them are self-organized and place where people spontaneously gathers, fearful from additional tsunami wave liquefations or ground shaking. So most of the locations are not the location that defines before the earthquakes. People just find try to find the open location, and they build a tent anywhere that they find it is suitable for them to be a relocations area. And then a few weeks after the event, governments and NGOs established what we call as juntaras, the temporary shelters. And since we have several NGOs, so the quality is quite different. As you can see that, I'm very sorry that I hear another sound. It is come from me or from other source. I'm very sorry. So the quality and the design is very considerably according to which NGO that support that area. For example, the one in the Nogala showing in the slide, in the upper slide, and the one in the middle supported by other agency, and the one in the lower slide showing by another agency. So the quality is different from one area to area. It depends who supports this area. And then another problem is regarding the planning of reconstructions. Governments already decided that the planning has to finish by the end of the plan has to be completed by the end of 2018. So after that, they may start to build the permanent housing. So they propose four different locations, but the problem of the selected area, but the although the government already selected 4 area as a permanent housing, but according to the findings by the team, the ARI, they found that some area are located in the red zones. So according to the new hazard map that published by several agencies showing in the right side of the maps, some area are located in the restricted, or some of them located in the prohibited. So it's very hard to find a green zone, a very safe area in Palu. And some area probably affected by liquefaction in the future. So it is a duty for us as a scientist to define an area that's safe from liquefactions. One of the factors why it is very hard to find as a safe area is because we don't still understand the process of the liquefations. The liquefaction process still not well understood by the scientists. So some scientists suggest that the area that experienced liquefactions in the 2018 during the 2018 earthquakes may become the liquefactions again in the futures. This sounds very logical, but the problem is we don't really understand the mechanism. It is just our feelings, and then the same area also occur. It is very hard to find a safe zone for permanent housing. if we try to take a look, one of the papers published by our collaborators, Professor Phil Cummins from Australian National University, and it is the paper published in a very good journal, the Nature's Geoscience. He mentions that that's one of the major cause of the liquefactions as the irrigations. So he suggests that if we can control the irrigations, that probably in the futures we can control the landslides. It means that the area, the red zone, the area that we call it as a region, big red zone, because it experienced liquefactions during the 2018 earthquakes, probably in the futures, if we can control the irrigation process, the area will become the safe zone. So this is my conclusion. The Palu and Ambon three very unusual phenomena: drone ruptures, tsunamis, and liquefactions. And for the Ambon earthquakes, the earthquakes originated from a fault that had not been previously defined. And the last part, the case of Palu and Ambon have unique challenges. In terms of the science, is very unique, but also there are some trade-off between legal rules, community involvement, and disaster knowledge. Thank you for your kind attention.
All right, thank you for Dr. Mailano. Please give him applause. Very interesting talks. So if anyone, we're gonna have more question and answer. We just to let you know, Professor Mailano, that we had already have one round of question and answer before you came. Now we are going to have, we are going to have one more round of the question and answer. So if somebody have question, please raise your hand and we'll let you in. So Prof. Mailano, can you stop your sharing, please? All right, thank you.
Okay.
All right, I just want to read some one question that being asked with the chat room. So to Professor Kasi Marimutu, came from Dr. Sri Agustina. She asked, do you have suggestion how to set the minimum concentration when use the organic extract for treating the fish disease? Okay, that is the first question. Second question will come from Reynaldi. So are you here, Reynaldi? Okay.
Okay, sir. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
My name is M. Rinaldi Vinotra. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to asking. So I'm, my name is M. Rinaldi Vinotra. I'm originally from Simulu Island, sir, Aceh Province, Indonesia. Now I'm currently studying at study program of Fisheries Resource Utilization, Faculty of Marine and Fisheries, Shah Kuala University. A few days ago, I read some articles about fisheries resources from internet, sir. It's close to the scope point 13, sir, at the INSAEF scope. About aquatic productivity, sir. So I read that Indonesia have two issues, problems. The one is overexploitation, especially overfishing, and the second one is IUUF, or illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing, sir. I wanted to know, as a student, I wanted to know how can I help solving this issue, sir, as a student? And the second question is, I would like to know, are there unique regulation in each country of keynote speakers to solve these issues above, sir? Maybe that's it. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
All right, thank you. All right, thank you very much. The last question for this round. We're gonna add up more round.
I have one question.
Okay, Dr. Haikal.
Yeah, should I save the question now or we wait until?
If somebody, if
Okay,
you can,
I will
somebody
ask to
some questions. So if there is nobody question, and then you can ask.
Okay, I can go ahead, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Pak Dr. Irhan. First of all, I would like to say thank to Dr. Irwan Melano that already joined with us and then share the amazing contribution of his team relate to the hazard and mitigation. Prof. Irwan, are you still here?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I can see you. Thank you very much, Prof. Irwan. It's very interesting topics that you shown up in the slide. One question that I have in mind, as you mentioned, we have a lot of faults that have not been mapped. So is there any some kind of low cost, because if we know that if we make a survey, it will be very costly. I mean, in terms of the students and the university, can we go to the low cost survey of this unmapped fault zone, and then we can suggest to further more detailed investigation of those faults? Yeah, that is my question.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Haikal. I think Prof. Marimutu, you have to answer those two questions that asked by audience, and then the last question will be answered by Prof. Melano. Prof. Marimutu, are you here still here? No, nobody can answer two questions actually. So it's come to you, Professor Mailano. You have to answer that, Dr. Haikal.
Okay. Yes. Thank you, Bapak Dr. Muhammad Irham. Dr. Haikal, thank you for your questions and your comments. Yes. Having a good understanding on active faults in Indonesia is very important, and it is very urgent for a big country like us. And then one of the strategy that I propose that collaboration is very necessary. Collaborations among universities. So, and also collaboration among universities and research and government's research office. I think it is needed, and it is a must to solve these kind of problems. And to answer your questions, is that a kind of a low cost approach? Basically, the method is a quite low cost. It is not very costly in terms of the cost, but the method need a multidisciplinary understandings. Of course, we need to have a good geological background and plus an understanding of the geophysics related with the earthquakes data, and also basic geodesy to understand the offset. So the key points is multidisciplinary understandings. So and having a good multidisciplinary understanding and share this understanding to our student is very important. So, and I think now is a very good timing for us, because now our Ministry of Education, they start a new programs, Kampus Merdeka Belajar, and I think it is a very good ways to ask our students, to give our students a multidisciplinary approach, and not only the hard science, but also the socio-related science. It is very important to understand the disaster. I really hope that I answer your questions.
Yes, Prof. Irwan, one more thing, because we have a lot of students also joining with us today. Would you please say something to encourage them to, as being as in the level that
Okay, I'm very glad to have so many students joining this this activity, and then based on my experience during disaster, student is one of the important part to respond the disaster everywhere. During the 2004 Aceh Andaman earthquake, I found the USK's Sakwal University students involved during the recovery process. During the 2006 Yogyakarta earthquakes, the students the latest one, the 2018 Lombok earthquakes, the students help a lot, and also the Palu earthquake. So student is very important part. But as a students, our role is not only the charity part, not only, for example, preparing meals, foods, blanket, which is very important, but we can contribute by our knowledge. For example, during the disaster, one of the needs for during the response is the information system. And it is often the quality of information is very low. So it's very hard to know which area needs waters, which area needs Indomie, or which area needs milks, foods, and so on. So we don't have such kind of information system. So become the voluntary of disaster, we can contribute a lot, and all your skill or your knowledge that you have during your period as a student is very important. So if you are student from, for example, from the fisheries, you can help a lot. If you are students from social scientists, you can help by using your knowledge. If you are from psychology, if you are from science. So, but the first part is to understand the disaster itself, and after that, gaining your knowledge in your expertise. I think this is very important, because disaster is everybody's business.
very much. Thank you very much, Prof.
All right, thank you very much. We have exactly on time of finishing our conference right now for the keynote speakers. Thank you very much, Mailano, and thank you very much, Professor Shukun. Actually, I have a lot of questions to Professor Shukun, because a part of your research is part of my research too. So, but we don't have time. So we are here not to conclude, to sum up of your talk, because every keynote speakers have their own expertise of area or expertise. So we're not going to give the sum up. I just want to close the session, my room session. Thank you very much for the speakers, and thank you very much for the Zoomers also. And I just want to let you know that the session for what we call the session for the room of, what they call it, the meeting room, another meeting room is open, so you are pleased to join of each your rooms for the presentation session. So I just want to end up the keynote speaker session by saying Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.